Guys, about a year ago, God put the desire in my heart to reach out to some friends of mine in Roanoke. See, these were guys that didn't know the Lord. They were guys I used to run around with, and God put this desire in me and said, go share with them what I've shared with you. That led to me meeting with one guy in particular for several weeks, and he started putting this desire in my heart to provide these guys with an environment much like we have here. So this desire led to me and a group of guys heading up to Roanoke and meeting on Thursday nights at a famous Anthony's. The desire was to reach out to the men in Roanoke, reach out to some of the people that we knew, and invite them to come out. You know, for the first 5 months, this desire in me would just well up every week. I mean, I would be sitting in my office on Monday morning, and all I could think about was getting to Roanoke on Thursday night. I would be talking with guys about it during the week, and when Thursday hit, I was on my way to Roanoke. Well, something happened, and I started to question some things. In fact, I started questioning, were we really having the impact on these guys that God wanted us to have? I even questioned, were we doing this, the right way? Was this really even where God wanted me to be? It was during this time that my desire for going to Roanoke just started to diminish. I started to struggle just to even get in the car on Thursday and go. I'd seen so much of this time there and been so excited, and then the shift happens, and I can't explain it. And I wonder if we've all experienced that at some point, in our pursuit for God, where we're getting up every Sunday morning, jumping out of bed, and we're heading to church at Blue Ridge. Or we're up in the morning and we're praying, we're reading our Bible. We can't even leave our Bible at home because we want to carry it with us all day because we have to get ourselves in the Word and read it. Or maybe, your desire to reach out for other guys, and you're calling guys up, you're texting them. You have all this desire for God and all the things that He's doing. Things in your life that come up like, financial troubles or worries. You just say God's got it, But somewhere along the line, does it happen to you guys? Does this happen where that desire begins to change? That something in you begins to change? That, getting up on Sunday mornings isn't as easy as anymore as it was? And maybe reading your Bible becomes maybe a once a week thing instead of an everyday thing? Maybe even talking to God, you're running out the door and you wish you would have spent that time with Him, but you say, well, I'll just get to that later. And we've all been there. And for some of you guys, being, new believers now, I know that for some of this you may not be able to experience with, but you will. They will come. And what is this that I'm talking about? What is this that happens? What is the shift in us that our desire changes? Well, I want to share a story with you, and this happens to be a Christmas story, and it's a story that I read that I feel God is revealing something to me that I really want to share with you guys this morning. So if you got your Bibles, if you don't, that's fine. I'm going to read it out loud. I'm in Matthew chapter 2, verse 1. You guys know the story, but just why don't you close your eyes for a minute if you're not reading along, just listen. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea during the time of King Herod, the wise men from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star in the east, and we've come to worship him." When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. When he had called together all the people's chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked them where the Christ was to be born. "In Bethlehem in Judea," they replied, "for this is what the prophet has written. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For out of you will come a ruler who will be shepherd of my people Israel." Then Herod called the wise men secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. He sent to them to Bethlehem and said, "Go, make a careful search for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me so that I too may go and worship him." After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen in the east went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. They opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold and of incense and of myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country by another route. So guys, I read this story, and I started to think about this. Here are two people that are desperately, passionately pursuing Jesus. You have Herod, King Herod, who is searching for Jesus, and then you have the wise men that are also seeking for him. But as I read this and I really began to think about this, I realized that there was a big difference between these two. See, because there was a difference in their motives for seeking after Jesus. See, King Herod, he says he was disturbed. Well, there was a reason why he was disturbed. Because what was being prophesied was that a new king would come. Well, this threatened everything that he had held to this point. And for him, his pursuit was for himself. But as I look at the wise men, and as you read here in verse 11, it says, "On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary. They bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, of incense, of myrrh." See, the wise men's motives were not about themselves. They weren't coming to Jesus hoping to get something from him. They weren't coming to ask him for something. They were coming because of who he was. They bowed down and they worshipped him for who he was. And guys, as I go back to the story in Roanoke, and the part that I didn't share with you guys is this, is that yes, God had put a desire in my heart for these guys. And yes, he put a desire in other guys going up there. But there was other things that were happening along the journey. See, Blue Ridge embraced this idea of going out to other places. Everybody talked about it. I was at Thirsty one night, and Todd brought it up 10 times during Thirsty. He said my name 10 times. Every time I saw Woody, "What's going on in Roanoke?" And I felt like a lot of times it became more about trying to seek results and try to share what may or may not be happening up there. And it became more about me than it did about Jesus. It became more about me than it did about the men that he sent me up there to go see. And Damon joined a couple months back, and I believe God put him in my life to show me that it's not about me. That if we're not going, who's going to go for these guys? But see, I got into a place of my motives were much different. I was trying to make something happen. I was trying to change things. I was trying to do something for myself because others were asking me. So what about you guys today? And I want you to think about this for a second, because if in fact we have this story of two people going after and searching out God, searching out Jesus, and the difference really just comes down to their motive. What is your motive this morning for being here? What is your motive for pursuing God right now? Are you trying to get something from him? Are you hoping he'll change something in your life? As I think about it, as we chase after Jesus, I see it in the guys around me. Guys, I've seen a lot of guys here in this group. I've seen a lot of guys around Blue Ridge that are running hard after God. I've watched them get up on stage and share their testimonies about what God has done in their life. I've seen them get baptized. I've baptized some of these guys. I've seen that desire come out into here where they're reaching out to other guys. And I don't see those guys here anymore. And I think to myself, what happened? What happened? What shifted in them? And I think it points back to this idea, and this is what I want to share with you guys this morning. And I want you to start to think about as you think about your motive here. Because a lot of us come for a lot of different reasons. You know, maybe you're here because you're hoping that God will save your marriage. Maybe you're here because you're lonely and you really just want some companionship. Maybe you're hoping God will put somebody in your life. Maybe your family's a wreck. Maybe you're hoping that God will do that. And don't misunderstand me. He can, and He has saved marriages, and He has fixed families, and He has brought people into people's lives because of the fact that He wanted them to be with that person. He has done all these great things. And He came and He saved the world so that we would not have this eternal separation between us and God. But that wasn't the only reason. And I want us to get this picture, the complete picture of the gospel, that Jesus, yes, He saves, but He is also the King of Kings, and He is the Lord of Lords. And the wise men knew that they were coming to Jesus not because of what they could get from Him, but for who He is. And this morning, guys, as you sit at your tables, what I would love for you to do is I'd really like you to answer this question for me. What is your motives for being here? Think about it. Think about your prayer life. What are your prayers right now? Are you spending more time asking God for something than you are worshiping Him for who He is? Because I think as I look back in my own life and I see these times where this shift happens, that's where it happens. It's when we start making it about us and instead about Him. And you know, this is the perfect time of the year, guys, because it is all about Him. And you will hear Christmas said over and over again, but what does it really mean to bring a gift to Him this year? What will your gift be? I hope your gift this morning is whatever motive, whatever it is that you're hoping that He will do, you will lay that down at His feet. And you will say, God, I don't care if you fix my marriage. I'm just going to worship you for who you are. I don't care if you fix this thing in my life. I'm just going to worship you for who you are. Because you are the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Some of you guys are here just because you're here. And somebody dragged you here or whatever it is. And I'm so glad you're here. But there is a picture of Jesus that has got to be said. That He is not just here to fix stuff in our lives. He can. But there is so much more. And I hope this morning before you leave here, you'll lay that down to Him as a gift. And you'll walk out of here and you'll say, God, you got this in your hands. I'm just going to be seeking after your face. So this morning, guys, at your tables, that's what we're going to do. We're just going to spend some time and we're going to talk about the things that we have been searching for, the things that we want to happen. And we're going to just put them out there. Good or bad, we're going to put them out there. And we're going to see what it is that's motivating us. And then we're going to ask the question, are we willing to lay that down at Jesus' feet as a gift this morning and just worship Him for who He is? Well, I hope this morning that you've maybe identified an area of your life that maybe it has become all about you and what it may look like to make it about Jesus. But what's it going to look like this week is really what I want to leave you with, guys. What's it going to look like when, you know, we're out there shopping and somebody frustrates us, gets in front of us in line, or maybe we're driving and somebody cuts us off, or maybe we're at the dinner table with family this Christmas and everybody's arguing. Are we going to make it all about us? You know, or maybe look at it as an opportunity to make it about Him. Because at this Christmas, what I'm hoping for, and I'm hoping for you guys too, is that, you know, we get back to the true essence of worship. Christ is making it about Him. And all about Him. So that's my prayer for you guys this Christmas. And Woody, if you would, I'm going to get you to close us off in prayer, and then Stephen's got a few announcements for us.